Now I have a quick reminder for everyone before we get into this video. Remember, women and children to the lifeboats first. Women and children, lifeboats. Men, you stay behind, you man the ship. So, what is going on, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So today isn't really a Subaru day. As much as I want it to be, I'm still waiting on that charge pipe to come back, but I do think I fixed the oil leak off the valve cover, so before we go to the shop and start working on the Evo, I want to start this thing. I want to try to get it burped and make sure that there's no oil leaking from it, so that way once we get that charge pipe back, we can just put it on, go drive the car, start putting braking miles on it. A couple days ago, I got a whole bunch of good stuff in for the Evo. I got the MAP catalytic converter, the radiator stays, the radiator grommets, a whole bunch of smaller stuff that I needed, and this stuff to get the T-case back in the car. So I'm gonna try to not get totally pissed off at an engine today and try to get a transfer case up into an Evo. I heard it can be a little bit of a pain in the ass, but it is doable. That's all I'm shooting for here. Couple things with this thing real quick, because some people were pointing it out. The clearance between the tire and the downpipe right there, it's greater than what you guys might think. Like, the downpipe doesn't sit over the highest point of the tire. We have about 2.5 inches of clearance between the downpipe and the tire. So even under compression from the coilover, the tire shouldn't hit the downpipe at all. So we should be fine on that. Remember, that's just a temporary downpipe until I can make another one, which isn't until I have the back purging stuff to be able to make another one. It's not the end of the world. So with this real quick, I put some sealant on one of the bolts on the valve cover where it was leaking from. So I'm gonna get this thing started real quick. If it's still leaking oil, then obviously I'm gonna have to take the valve cover off and do all that stuff. That's something that I really don't wanna have to do if I can avoid it. So let's turn it on, see if we can get this thing burped real quick and make sure we're not peeing oil everywhere, because that's the only leak we have, which is good. Killing ourselves.
Oh.
That's the last thing we wanna do, right? What are you doing with this NVIDIA header over here?
Oh.
If anyone wants a NVIDIA header, Matt has one for sale. It's right there. If anyone needs a NVIDIA equal length header. And a Moroso oil pan.
Yeah, cheap.
And a 4-inch catback. Let's get these parts out of the garage. Somebody buy these.
Yeah, cheap.
Somebody buy this stuff so we can out of the garage.
Maybe not quite as cheap for this, but that.
I'll cut deals.
Cheap.
I'll cut deals on that 4-inch exhaust if someone wants it.
This Moroso pan?
Cheap.
Cheap.
How much you selling the
Make an offer. I don't know, make an offer.
Make an offer on the pan.
Make an offer, I need it gone. There's too much stuff in this garage.
I fucking hate extension cords.
Bring them down.
Extension cords always get in the way. Setting 3? Look, should blow the exhaust out, right?
Yeah.
Let me grab a rag.
Weird fan setup for blowing out exhaust.
Hey,
I'm gonna stand directly in front of it, just so I get all of it. Yeah, I really like carbon monoxide, it's great.
Who doesn't?
This fucking dude says this is quieter.
Is it not?
This is not quieter than before.
Why is it really?
If you saw, you can definitely see me shake while I'm holding the camera.
Yeah. Was it that bad?
Yeah, it's so fucking loud.
I think I'm gonna have to pull off the valve cover, dude.
Yeah.
I really don't want to. It means I gotta take the turbo and the downpipe and shit back out.
I don't know. Did you like miss an O-ring on the backside or something?
No, all the grommets are there.
That looks like, I don't know.
That's the only.
I mean, that's pissing.
That's the only leak we have. Like, the only leak.
I'm right there. I don't want to touch the downpipe on accident, but yeah, it's
just
hot?
Yeah, it's fucking hot. Are you kidding me?
Well, on the bright side.
I didn't know you were going to rev it up and I'm standing right fucking here.
Did it sound good?
Dude, I'm standing right here and I'm like, oh yeah, let's watch this leak. And then you rev it and I'm like,
oh! Okay, well that's an annoying leak to have to fix.
It sounds good. It sounds more like smooth.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that's just that it's not breaking up now or what, but
Ah!
that have something to do
Yeah,
with
or yeah. That's annoying. I think I'm just gonna have to pull the valve cover, which I really don't want to have to fucking do.
Yeah.
no other way around it.
Ah! Well, luckily I already have extra valve cover gaskets here.
Yeah.
I just don't, why couldn't it be this side? This side's so much easier. May have to tighten some of this stuff too if need.
Seems okay.
Yeah.
It's just shiny. It looked wet, but it's shiny.
I'm gonna have to pull the valve cover, replace the gasket, which is gonna suck because I have to take turbo and everything back out, so that's gonna not be fun at all. You wanna do it for me?
Sure.
Actually, maybe I'll just do that now before I go to the shop.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to let it cool down for a minute. You wanna do it?
I don't care. I need to do a fucking axle.
I'll tell you what, I'll stay here and do this if you wanna do your axle. That way I can help you with your axle if you need help.
I just need somewhere to do my axle.
We can make room right here.
It's not the front yard.
We can make room right here. All right, you guys, I'm gonna hold off on going to the shop for a couple minutes. Well, probably a couple hours. I am going to go ahead and do the valve cover gasket on the passenger side to fix this oil leak. I'd rather just get it done with now, so that way once that charge pipe comes back, we just put the charge pipe in, drive the car. Yeah, I might raise the front end up like another 1/4 of an inch, because when we turn the car left, the tire does get really close to the downpipe. So when I go to make the new downpipe, I'm gonna have to make some revisions. God, dude, I really burnt my arm. I put my forearm on the turbo, don't ask me why. When we go to make revisions to the next downpipe, I'm gonna have to angle it so that way it kind of goes around the tire a little bit better. But we should still totally be fine. It's just gotta watch out for big potholes and whatnot, but we'll get it figured out. So let's start disassembling everything to get down to that valve cover gasket and swap out the gasket, put some sealant on it, clean it up, all that stuff to fix this oil leak, and then we'll get it started again, test it to make sure that everything is Gucci. An oil leak, and it was me. It was my fault, because I'm a big old dummy sometimes, and I forget little stupid things. Like the, oh, it's all oily. Like the grommet, or the gasket that goes on the spark hole cover. Oops! So, I'm gonna get the valve cover cleaned up. I'm gonna spray it down brake clean, pull the gaskets off, clean off the cylinder head, get the gaskets back in, put a little bit of gasket maker on top of the seal. I just like to add a little bit more for added sealage, I guess you could say, because we didn't have any leaks anywhere else aside from that one spot where I forgot the gasket. So let me clean up that cover, let me clean up the cylinder head, we'll get it all bolted back on, and then we will resume trying to burp this car. I think this video is just going to turn into prepping the STI for its first drive in like 2 years, which is a little scary to think about, but let's fix this oil leak. So I've got the the passenger side head all cleaned up, all the old gasket maker off of there. I like to put a little bit of gasket maker on there. I'll put a little bit more on there. Now that I've cleaned it all off, I have our valve cover over here ready to go. I've cleaned this. I have all the gaskets in here this time, so that way we will be solid. So let's go ahead, get some gasket maker put on the cylinder head, get this valve cover put back on, bolt everything back up, and burp the cooling system on this bad little beezy, get it done with, and then we just need our charge pipe, and then we'll probably do a once over on everything on the car just to make sure that we're all Gucci on everything.
But first, a message from today's video sponsor.
Alright, you guys, I need to talk to you about today's video sponsor, our friends over at Haviland. You guys know that we've been working with Techron and Haviland for a while now, and we use their products in all of our cars. Now we're going to be using Haviland in pretty much all of our cars. The GTI uses Haviland, the BRZ uses Haviland, the Evo is going to be using Haviland. Now Haviland is so good that even My dog approves of it. Isn't that right, small boy? Now, with Haviland, this is fantastic. I love this packaging that they offer. It's 70% less plastic. You get 1 extra quart in these. Now, this is a nice new one that Haviland has come out with. This is their Pro RS oil. If you are going to those quick oil change services, ask about Haviland Pro RS. This is 25% plant-based, and this is more geared towards performance-based cars for smaller gasoline engines like the BRZ, the GTI, the Evo, things of that nature. Turbocharged small cars. That is what this is intended for. Now, both of these are fantastic products which you can pick up at Walmart locally. I don't know if you're going there to pick up school supplies, if you're going there to pick up groceries. I don't know what you're going there to do. Both of these oils are dog approved. Isn't that right, tiny boy? This is right. You love Haviland. This packaging is, like I said, this packaging is also very convenient. You pop open here, boop, you pull this guy, push that guy out. It fell in there. Oh no, it didn't. It's right there. Boop. Throw that guy out of the way. Push this guy up, and then you can go in here, grab your spout. It'll lock into place on there. Lock it down. Boom. Ready to pour. You don't know how much oil you got in here. Easy deal. You got a window right here. You even have a nice convenient window down here telling you how much oil you have left in these bags. One additional thing. You guys may remember last month we talked about being a Techron star, and they were picking 5 people to enter their contest. You get to win some cool stuff, some prizes and whatnot. So if you were one of the ones picked, please let me know down in the, I'm curious. But if you guys do want to vote on those Techron stars, there will be a link below. You guys have from June 20th to June 27th to go vote on those participants. So there's some really cool stories in there. Link down below for that voting as well. But let's get back to getting this STI running so that way we can go drive this thing, because it's been sitting entirely too long. Let me tell y'all some bullshit. So I went to put the valve cover back in. This ruined my day. Went to put the valve cover back on, and I was getting the bolts back in. Everything was going hunky-dory, and then one of the bolts decided to go from righty-tighty to righty-loosey real quick. I didn't even put much torque on it. I'm guessing the bolt was old, it stretched and snapped, so I'm gonna have to dig through my spare. I'm glad I have spare EG parts because those bolts are discontinued, so I can go kidnap some from that bin that I have back there. But while I was getting the valve cover on, one of them snapped. I was like, oh my God. If you've ever had a valve cover bolt snap in a Subaru, you know how close the cylinder head is to the frame rail. So you know you don't have much room to work with. So I was legit going through like all these things in my head, trying to figure out something that would work. I don't even know where the broken bolt is anymore at this point. It's gone in the wind. I had to get very creative with how I just repaired this. So sockets and drill bits were sacrificed in the making of repairing this. So I tried welding some drill bits to sockets, and those immediately snapped and broke when I was trying to do it that way. So what I ended up doing was cutting down, I don't even know where the actual one is. I ended up cutting down a drill bit to like, it was legit probably like 1/3 of an inch or so. I smacked it into a socket with a hammer. Similar to what you see here, this is the tap I was using. So I smashed a drill bit into a socket and then put that socket onto a 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter, and then used my electric ratcheting, God, there's crap everywhere. Used this guy to be able to get in between the frame rail and the engine to be able to drill it out. And let me tell you, there is like no room up in here between the engine and the frame rail right there. I tried, like, I was like, oh dude, I'll go buy something to make this work. So I went out and I tried buying this like Bauer stubby 90-degree drill. This is too big. This was too big to fit. I was like, fuck dude, well I'm returning that because I have no need for that ever. So I was able to do that. Then I smashed a socket onto my tap, and with this and an 11mm ratcheting wrench, this guy, like so, I was able to retap the hole and get a helicoil in there. Now, the helicoil is pretty annoying. I had to cut off one of the helicoil. If you've ever installed a helicoil, you know it comes with a handle to be able to like tighten it in. I had to cut it off, use a pair of vice grips, and like go like 1/4 of a turn at a time to get the helicoil in, but the helicoil's in. So thank God. So now I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna be very careful putting these bolts in, I'm gonna clean the cylinder head again, clean the valve cover again, be very gentle putting all of this back in. We're gonna put it back in, and I'm never going to do this. I'm never gonna take that valve cover off again until this engine's out of the car. Then I'm gonna re-drill every single one of the holes in that valve cover, put helicoils in them so I never have to deal with this again, because this sucked ass. This was legit like 3.5 hours of bullshit. So let's get the valve cover back on. everything put back together over here on this side. Everything is put back where it needs to be. Let's start this thing up and see if it continues to leak oil. It is going to smoke. I did spill some oil onto the exhaust manifold, so it's going to smoke a little bit. So let me turn on that box fan, and I pray to Lord this stupid oil situation is taken care of, because I don't want to deal with this again. Come over here. We go boop. Turn fan on to high. Nothing's going to rattle off or fall into the engine bay, it looks like, so we're good there. Please don't leak oil. Ooh, that was a fun noise. Beep. All right, come on, daddy-o. We want no oil leaks. Turn that thing all the way up. No AC. Continue to watch it, but let me burp it. That was a what? A cop. A cop? A police officer drove by. Fuck that guy. One more oil leak off of the oil pressure regulator, so that's good now. No more leaks off of that. This guy's breaking in. You can see some steam coming off. So far, we're looking good. I'm gonna let it idle for a little bit longer, but dude, that sounds so freaking good. Well, we had a check engine light come back for something. I don't know what yet, but something. Why do we have an engine code? Hopefully it's just for like something stupid, like not having the charge pipe in, and it's like miscalculating air-fuel ratios and whatnot. That's what I'm hoping, at least. I swear, dude, I just hope it's not engine position. If it is, then the only other thing I can think of, at that point, I don't know. If engine position comes back up, I don't know what's next. Like the trigger wheel, maybe? Oil pressure, battery voltage, that's it? Oil pressure and battery voltage is all that we threw a check engine light for? Fuck yes, daddy. That means it's not engine, oh fuck, engine position error. But I changed the home signal until, so I changed it from continuous to until full sync. So once they sync up, then it's not gonna care about it anymore. So let's start it up again and see what happens. Code did not seem to come back. is a good sign. I don't see any more leaks, which is another good sign. Dope, dude. I don't know what to do from here. Alright guys, so it is the next morning. I just got the cooling system done being burped. There's still a very small oil leak off that valve cover where that bolt stripped out. So after the car cools down, I'm gonna go back in there, tighten it down a little bit more, and that should fix the oil leak. If not, I'll swap it because I cut that bolt a little bit short. So if anything, I can just grab a new bolt from the other set of heads that I have, swap it in there, and we should be totally fine on that. So, dope. Today I'll probably go through, I'll clean up the engine bay a little bit, wipe down things, make it look all pretty and whatnot. Our charge pipe should be coming back tonight. I'll go through, do a secondary check of all vacuum fittings, lines, make sure that everything is good. And then from there, the first drive will be the next STI video. It's like, obviously I'm a little bit nervous to go drive it for the first time. I haven't driven this car in almost 2 years now. And I want to say I appreciate and thank you guys for your patience with this. I know a lot of you guys realize the amount of crap that goes into it. On top of that, it's like I've paid for 95% of this build out of pocket. So a lot of the waiting and the downtime has been between me waiting for paychecks so that way I could order the rest of the parts that we need for things. Like, things add up quick. Like, just the AN fittings alone, I think I spent like damn near $1,000 on AN fittings and lines, because AN fittings are like $30 a piece, plus line is also stupid expensive, so it just adds up quick. I know a lot of people were asking what the final cost of the build was. I don't know yet. I'll add it up and I'll do a video on that for the total final cost of literally absolutely everything that went into this. It's not going to be a number that I want to see, but I'm curious also. So that's all I got for you guys on this one. It's finally done. Like, there's nothing else I need to go through, fix, change, make revisions, anything like that. We'll redo the downpipe later on. I'm not concerned about that right now. But aside from that, like, it's done. Next up, we just do the Varus wide body kit and we send it. I'm joking, I can't afford that. That was supposed to be an Evo video, turned into prepping the STI for the first drive. That whole valve cover situation really delayed things and added an additional like 3.5, 4 hours onto what I was doing. So it is what it is. If you guys like the video though, you guys know what to do. Go ahead, hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver sign, whatever color it turns for you. But the color of the day today is World Rally Blue, for blue behind me here. And if you are not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet, but with that, I will catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo!